Greetings and welcome to another Pokemon 2019 or Pokemon Journeys anime episode review. This time I'm talking about episode 80, so let's get to it. Episode 80 begins in Mount Lanakila. The Alolan Ninetales that Go caught in episode 71 is returned to its home by Tsurugi. Now, while looking at Ninetales, Tsurugi says, "Don't let any more Pokemon hunters capture you again." And he then has this sad expression on his face, which is out of character. Asahi does say this very same thing, that she has never seen him make a face like this before. There are two reasons why I think that Tsurugi is making this face. The first reason is that Ninetales was finally able to return to its home. It's finally free from the hunters. This is a touching scene, so maybe Tsurugi is just very happy and relieved when he sees this, which shows that despite the fact that he appears to be a very cold person, he still does have a heart, at least when it comes to Pokemon. The second possibility is that there might be a story behind this expression, as in perhaps something happened in the past with a Pokemon and hunters that had an impact on Tsurugi. So maybe he is just reliving these memories when he sees Ninetales, or he is relieved because this time things ended differently. In any case, there is definitely a reason behind this expression, and hopefully we do find out what this reason is someday. Tsurugi won't say what the reason is himself because he is, of course, way too proud to admit that he is being sentimental. Now, Asahi does wonder if there's any leads on the hunters that caught Ninetales, and Tsurugi says we have found them, we are heading their way next. Now, considering that this is supposed to be an organization that focuses on research, you would think that they would just inform Officer Jenny, and they would let her take care of the hunters, but instead, they rather enforce the law themselves, which I guess is understandable, considering that they have legendary Pokemon with them, which can certainly take care of a couple of Pokemon hunters. Finally, Asahi wants to know if Tsurugi is curious about the trainer that caught Ninetales, meaning Go, since Tsurugi is the one that passed Go when he was technically disqualified. Tsurugi says that he does not care, but he does want to know why Asahi is asking such a question. And Asahi says that Go will be undertaking his first official trial mission, to which Tsurugi replies that he still does not care. After Tsurugi leaves, Asahi says that he obviously does care, but he won't actually admit it, because he is too proud, which is what I stated earlier. So Asahi and I agree on this front. The episode then cuts to Cerise Institute where Go receives his mission, which is to reach the objective making full use of a variety of Pokemon. But Go gets to pick what the actual objective is from a selection of 3. He ultimately ends up picking the mission that requires him to get the golden scales of a Volcarona. Ash is confused because Volcarona don't have golden scales, so he and Go consult Professor Cerise, Krisa, and Ren. They all end up concluding that maybe the amber scales that a Volcarona can release are the golden scales, or that maybe Volcarona can sometimes release actual golden scales, or that perhaps finding out what these golden scales are is the true objective. Now, none of them mention the fact that shiny Volcarona do have golden wings and thus golden scales, which is the first thing that came to mind when I saw the title of this episode. So, Go checks his Pokedex to see where he can find a Volcarona, and the Pokedex points him to the Desert Resort in the Unova Region, more specifically to the ruins where Go caught Golurk in episode 14. These ruins also have a golden room, so Go thinks that there could also be a Volcarona with golden scales. Ash and Go soon get to the ruins and they make their way to the golden room. Here they find the researcher that they met the last time that they were here. Go says that they are looking for Volcarona and that there should be plenty of them in the area. The researcher says that this was the case a few days ago, but now there are no Volcaronas to be found, since they no longer visit the area due to Pokemon hunters who have been catching Pokemon using some cruel methods. However, he and his team did discover something enchanting related to Volcarona. There is a mural that depicts a Volcarona alongside a riddle, which reveals that Volcarona can be found in a volcanic area. The researcher then tells Ash and Go that there is a town nearby that was founded during the gold rush, which was sealed off when a volcano erupted. He says that Ash and Go might find something in this town. I have to say that it's nice that this series continues to have a great sense of continuity, since Ash and Go not only visit a place that they visited before, but they also meet a person that they met before, which is very cool. Ash and Go get to the town, which indeed does look like a town ripped straight out of the Wild West. They then head towards the nearby volcano where they find a dilapidated tunnel that leads to a mine. Ash and Go decide to explore the tunnel with the help of a lamp that Go smartly brought along. The first thing that they find inside the tunnel is a Roggenrola, who attacks Ash and Go. Ash gets ready to battle, but Go chooses to battle instead, which is understandable since this is his mission. So, Go sends out Inteleon since Inteleon has a type advantage over Roggenrola. Inteleon uses Snipe Shot to easily defeat this Roggenrola, and Go then captures the Roggenrola. Since Go already has Boldore, he just needs Gigalith to complete the evolution line. A horde of Roggenrola then appear, and they are not happy. So Ash and Go run away alongside their Pokemon. They all eventually find a minecart and they push it while Inteleon provides cover fire. They all then get on the minecart and they go along for a roller coaster ride through the mine. Eventually they reach a dead end on the track which almost spells their doom. But Inteleon uses Snipe Shot on the nearby lever which switches the track, thus saving everyone in the process. The minecart eventually stops in front of an elevator which is out of power, but Pikachu uses Thunderbolt to restore power to the entire mine, and so everyone uses the elevator to access a lower floor where they soon hear a scream. They head towards the scream and they find a man that is being attacked by a Ferrothorn. Go sends out Cinderace who has a type advantage over Ferrothorn. Cinderace uses Pyrobolt to easily defeat this Ferrothorn, and Go catches Ferrothorn. The man thanks Ash and Go and he says that he is here to study Pokemon. Ash and Go introduce themselves and they say that they are looking for Volcarona. The man then grins here and his eyes shine, which indicates that he should not be trusted. He says that he is looking for Volcarona too, so they should all search together. Now Go thus sense that something is off about this man. They all proceed further into the mines and they soon get to the mining railway station. The man says that during the gold rush, these tunnels led to the next mine over. Go is surprised because the man knows so much, but the man simply laughs it off, saying that he does not know that much. So Go's suspicions grow as a result. They then find 6 Larbesta eggs nearby, which means that Volcarona should also be nearby. The man then reveals his true colors. He sends out a Galvantula which uses its web to stick Ash and Go to the wall behind them. The man then says that Volcarona got away while he was busy capturing the other Pokemon in the area, but he can at least make a lot of money by selling the eggs. It turns out that he is a Pokemon hunter, which is not surprising. Now, considering that he has a Pokemon, and that he is a Pokemon hunter, it really makes you wonder why he was being chased by Ferrothorn. But it worked out in his favor in the end, since he appeared to be a harmless researcher that was just unlucky. So he was able to take advantage of Ash and Go. The man then loads all the Larbesta eggs into a cart and he decides to see if there are more eggs further into the mine. But before he can, 2 Larbesta appear, and so the man decides to catch them as well. However, the Larbesta don't take kindly to this and they burn through Galvantula's sticky web with Flamethrower, and they also knock out the Galvantula as well in one fell swoop. The man decides to send out another Pokemon, but another Flamethrower from a third Larbesta interrupts him. This Flamethrower also sets fire to the entire area. The man tries to escape with the eggs, but the Larbesta keep trying to stop him with Flamethrower, which puts the eggs in danger. The Larbesta are blinded by rage. Ash and Go are also seemingly endangered due to the fire, but this eventually ends up helping them, since the fire burns the web that was holding them, which allows them to finally move. Ash and Pikachu get the eggs back, and the man runs away. Go then tries to calm down the Larbesta, and while they do not listen at first, they soon settle down. Ash and Go then return the eggs. However, the fire is getting out of control, so Ash sends out Dracovish and Go sends out Inteleon and Krabby. These 3 Pokemon try to extinguish the flames with their water type attacks. However, the fire proves to be quite resilient. Flames end up flying towards the eggs, but Go courageously protects them. A beam on fire then also falls towards the eggs, but the third Larbesta uses Flamethrower to destroy it, saving Go and the eggs in the process. The third Larbesta finally shows itself, and it turns out that it's a shiny Larbesta. This Larbesta then evolves into a shiny Volcarona who absorbs all the flames in the area, which finally takes care of the fire. Volcarona then flies around and it releases golden scales that rain down on Ash and Go, which is quite a sight to behold. It looks really cool and beautiful, especially with how dark the tunnel is. The scales look like fireflies, which makes this one amazing moment. Go takes out a jar which he uses to collect some spores, so mission complete. Ash and Go leave the tunnel and they find that the Pokemon Hunter from earlier is waiting for them outside. He never left because he refuses to give up on the Larbesta and the eggs. He even knows that there is a shiny Volcarona as well since he was watching from a safe distance, and he wants to capture this Volcarona too. It turns out that he called for backup. 3 more hunters appear and all 4 of them send out a Pokemon, so Ash and Go are faced with a Conkeldurr, an Electros, a Swalus, and a Krokorok. The hunter wants Ash and Go's Pokemon as well, but Ash and Go refuse, and they say that the hunters won't get away with this. Krokorok then uses Sludge Bomb to corner Ash, Go, Pikachu, and Grookey. Now I hate how powerless Ash and Go are here. Like, come on, do something. Don't just sit here and cower like you can't do anything. Fight back. Go had no problem using Inteleon and Cinderace earlier to battle wild Pokemon, but now he does not even try to battle. Ash and Go are essentially reduced to damsels in distress here so that Asahi and Tsurugi can save the day since they both show up just in time. Now I don't agree with this. Instead, Ash and Go should have fought back. There could have been twice the number of hunters so that Ash and Go are still outnumbered. So in the end, they still need saving, but not because they are completely helpless. So Asahi says that the hunters are pitiful, and Tsurugi tells them to shut up because their words foul the air. So Asahi and Tsurugi are definitely not playing around. They are here to clean house. Asahi then confidently says that she will take on 3 of the hunters by herself, which shows that she is very sure of herself. Or maybe it's just because it's her turn to show off this time since Tsurugi saved the day last time. Every single one of the hunters' Pokemon except for Conkeldurr charge Asahi with Crunch. Conkeldurr attacks Tsurugi instead with Poison Jab. Tsurugi unsurprisingly sends out his Urshifu while Asahi surprisingly and unsurprisingly also sends out an Urshifu. But hers is in the other style, the Rapid Strike style. I say surprisingly and unsurprisingly because it's kind of a surprise since I somehow did not think that she also had an Urshifu. But it is not surprising because it does make sense. Tsurugi has an Urshifu and Urshifu has 2 styles. So it is indeed fitting that Asahi has an Urshifu in the other style. The preview for this episode did show Asahi with her Urshifu, so it was definitely not a surprise when I watched the actual episode. But what I want to convey is that when I saw that Asahi has an Urshifu as well, I was kind of surprised, while at the same time I was like, oh, of course, how did I not think about this sooner? Also, it is worth noting that both styles of Urshifu are fighting type, so what distinguishes them is their secondary type, which is dark type for single strike style Urshifu and water type for rapid strike style Urshifu. Asahi and Tsurugi seem to specialize in the type that matches their Urshifu, since Tsurugi also has a Weavile and Asahi was seen with an Azumarill at the start of this episode. Both of them also wear an outfit that has the collar that matches their type, and their hair also has this same color. This is a very Pokemon thing to do. So, Asahi's Urshifu uses its signature move, Surging Strikes, to make quick work of the hunter's Pokemon. Tsurugi's Urshifu also uses its signature move, which demolishes Conkeldurr. Asahi then approaches Ash and Go to see if they are okay. She then wonders if Go completed his mission and Go shows her the scales, which Asahi verifies. She sees that Go did indeed complete his mission, so he gets a Mew token as a reward. Asahi reminds Go that this is only 1 token. He has to get many more tokens if he wants to join Project Mew. Go says that he will do his best, but he laments the fact that he had to be saved yet again. Tsurugi, however, says that he did not save anyone. All he did was take care of some nefarious hunters. It's clear that he will never admit that he does indeed have a heart, that he does indeed care about other people. Professor Hodaka then appears and he greets Ash and Go. He says that they will take the hunters to Officer Jenny, which means that they do still rely on the law. Go wonders what will happen to the hunters Pokemon, and Hodaka says that they will look after them for a while and then they will release them into the wild. Ash and Go are happy to know this. Asahi then tells Go that he should get ready for his next mission and that he should not worry about anything, meaning that he should not worry about any more trouble that might spring up during said mission. Now I love that Asahi winks after saying this, and her Azumarill also winks as well, which shows that they are in sync and that they have a similar if not the same personality. But that's the episode. So overall, I think that this was a great episode. Volcarona is, in my opinion, one of the best looking Pokemon ever. It's just so cool and majestic. It has been a while since we last saw a Volcarona in the anime, so it's great that we got to see one again, and it's especially cool because we got to see a shiny one. And the scene where the golden scales were raining on Ash and Go was such an amazing moment. It was nice to see Asahi and Tsurugi again, and it was especially cool to see that Asahi also has an Urshifu. I also liked the Wild West aesthetic of the town and the mine that Ash and Go visited in this episode. So yeah, I liked this episode overall, and I am looking forward to seeing what other cool adventures Ash and Go will go on because of Project Mew. But that's the video, as always. Leave your own thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and would like to see more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I love Pokemon and I love making videos on both the anime and the games. Also, please consider clicking the links on screen so that you can check out more videos like this right away. Thank you very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.